What's good, people? Today, the topic of interest is 4 signs that you are not loving yourself. So, if you see yourself in any of these signs, don't beat yourself up about it. It's not be obsession. It just means that there's room to grow. Okay, and you'll find that if you do make the changes, you've noticed that your self esteem will rise and also the relationship with yourself will improve massively. So, let's get straight into it. So, the first sign that you are not loving yourself is that you put other people's needs above your own, often to your own detriment. So you're putting other people's needs above yourself, often to your own detriment. So that just basically means that you're setting yourself ablaze to keep other people warm. Now, there's a time and a place to give to people, and that's normally when your cup is full and you've got a little bit of abundance. Like you've drank from the cup already, you're not thirsty anymore, and you've got a little bit extra to give to other people. When you're coming from that place, like it feels good to give. You feel like you look yourself in the mirror and you're like, you know what? I'm a great person, right? Because you've given from a place of abundance. But when you're giving from a place where you don't really have, or you've not really given to yourself, two things begin to happen. One, you begin to get resentful. Like you look at these people and you're just thinking, these mother, always needing things. And they ask you for something and you just get mad, right? Because you've not given to yourself. And two, on top of that, it creates a feeling of powerlessness because you feel like you've not got control over your time, you've not got control of your resources because you're continuously giving. And because you're continuously giving, what you're really teaching yourself is that your needs, what you want, is not important. Other people's needs are more important than yourself, and that's a backwards way of thinking. Because you got to remember this about people as well, is that people can handle their problems by themselves. They don't always need you there to be putting out their fires for them. Because if something was to happen to you, let's say you got hit by a bus and you were in hospital, or you died, God forbid, people will figure things out. They would have to become resourceful. Things will move on. They'll figure things out for themselves. Life will go on just fine without you being there, without you being present. And when you remember this, you'll be in a place where you can confidently say no to people and prioritize yourself, charge up for yourself. So you want to give to yourself first and make sure all the giving that you're giving, or the giving that you're doing, should I say, is coming from a place of abundance where you got a little bit extra. So that's the first thing. You notice that your self-esteem will rise when you begin to do that. You feel like you got control over your life. The second sign that you're not loving yourself is that you use self-deprecating humor. So self-deprecating humor is a humor that must never come out of your mouth. You never make fun of yourself in the presence of others or ever. Now, there are two types of self-deprecating humor. So there's the first type, which is like it's okay, where you're over-exaggerating something that's clearly not true. So, for example, let's say you're somebody who goes to the gym and you're stacked, you're swole. You can make a joke and be like, you can make a joke about being skinny and not having the strength to lift a particular weight. When you make a joke like that, people can laugh. They'll be like, ha 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 ha, because it's really absurd. It's really absurd. It's something that's clearly not true, right? It's an extreme, so that's funny because it's not true. But there's a second form of self-deprecating humor where you're making jokes about yourself and there's an element of truth to it. Like you're really tearing yourself down in the presence of other people. And though these people will laugh with you, they'll be like, ha ha ha, oh man, it's so funny. You should be a comedian. They're laughing, but even though they're doing that, it's really lowering their respect level for you. Right? They really have no respect for you. They're laughing and have no respect for you. Because with people, you got to realize that you teach them how to treat you. And that often stems with the way that you treat yourself. So if you're always making jokes about yourself and tearing yourself down, you don't take care of yourself, your appearance or anything like that, you're really communicating that I don't really matter, I don't respect myself, I am not important. And as a result, people will respond to you in that type of way. People respond differently to different people. There's some people who will talk smack to a particular type of person because they know that they will take it. And there's some people that you wouldn't dare talk disrespectfully to in their presence because you know that they wouldn't have it. They respect themselves highly enough to just shut you up, right? It starts off with the way that you treat yourself, and self-deprecating humor is a no. Stop that. Honestly, it's eroding your self-esteem. It's like the ultimate form of disrespect to yourself because you yourself are disrespecting yourself in the presence of other people. So don't do it. The third sign that you're not loving yourself is that you're super harsh with yourself with your words. So whenever you make a mistake, you really slash into yourself. So you rather than just saying, I made a mistake and I was wrong and I can learn from this, you go, I'm a terrible person, I'm trash, I'm stupid, I'm ugly, You're taking it to town. Now, the thing is this, is that when you're super harsh with yourself, it only, one, increases the probability that you'll make the same mistakes, and two, once again, it lowers your self-esteem because sometimes, like, these voices that you hear in your head when you're really speaking bad about yourself, they're not always yours. Sometimes it's the voice of a critical parent, it's a voice of a critical coach, right? It's not always yours. So you want to become aware of this self-talk, right? Become aware of it and then be gentle with yourself. When you make a mistake, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world when you make a mistake. It's okay, right? And you often notice that, like, the relationship or the self-talk a person has normally with how they treat other people as well. So when somebody's like super harsh with others when they make mistakes, it's normally an indication that they're really harsh with themselves. Okay, so you want to be wary of that. Be gentle with yourself. It's okay to make mistakes. Like, don't go to town with it. So really notice when you do that, when you do this, because you often do this unconsciously. And then the last thing is that you make personal decisions not based on your likes or dislikes or your needs or desires, but in hope of getting someone's attention or approval. That's high level game. I gotta read that out again. You make personal decisions not based on your likes or dislikes or your needs or desires, but in hope of getting someone's attention or approval. So you're guiding your life. The sole, shall I say, the sole what's the word? The sole compass for your life or the decisions that you make is the approval of other people. Now, the thing about the approval of other people is that when you live for other people's approval, you live for their acceptance, you will die from their rejection. Right. So an example of this is kind of like, let's say you're in a relationship with somebody and you're not happy in it. You're miserable. Like, you're miserable. You know this person isn't the right person for you. That could be an example. But your grandma is really happy that you're dating a Puerto Rican man. She's like, ah, I'm so glad you got a Puerto Rican. It makes me so happy. Ah, like, because you want to keep your grandma happy, because you're like, oh man, I want my grandma to be happy that I got a Puerto Rican man. You stay in that situation. You're making decisions based on her approval because you want her to be happy with you. But you gotta remember this life that you live, this life is yours, right? It's on you to make the decisions for yourself, because if you're making decisions based on what you think other people will like, or what will please other people, you create a life that leads to misery. Like in the meantime, you may be thinking, ah, thank God I've got the happiness and the love from these people. But later down the line, you find yourself to be significantly, or not significantly, well, you find yourself to be miserable simply because you've created a life that wasn't really in line with your own values, with the things that were important to you. You've lived for other people. And once again, it lowers your self-esteem, it lowers your own self-respect, because you've not made choices for yourself, right? There's an element of powerlessness there. There's an element or I'd say maybe like even a hint of anxiety, because you want their love to be there so much. The thing, this is the thing. The people who really are there for you, the people that who really really do love you, will love you regardless of the decisions that you make. Even if you make decisions that don't necessarily align with what they agree with, they'll still love and support you because they're there for you as a person. They're there for you at the core of who you are. They will revoke their love or remove it just because you're not doing what they want you to do. Those type of people are the people who are controlling, so you want to stay away from those. The people who are legit, the people who really love you, will remain in your life even when you make decisions that don't necessarily align with what they want for you. Just out of love for you, they'll stick with you. So those are the four signs that you're not loving yourself. One, you put other people's needs above your own, often to your own detriment. Self-deprecating humor, super harsh with your words, and you make personal decisions not based on your likes or dislikes or your needs or desires, but in hope of getting someone's attention or approval. That's the video of the day. Peace.